2. Pseudo Bad Men. I'm a two-gun man and a very bad man and won't do to monkey with. Cowboy yell. With the passing of the keel boat, many Mike Fink's tribe became raftsmen, joining the new crew of hardy adventurers that brought the forests down to the towns in the form of rafts, put together in cribs of logs or boards, and then taken apart to be sold. The typical raftsman, writes Charles Edward Russell, in Rafting on the Mississippi, 1928, was reckless, dissolute, daring, and all that, but he was more. He was humorous with a style of humor all his own, and largely his own language in which to frame it. Emotional at bottom, sophisticated on the surface, a singer, a dancer, an improviser of wild yarns, ready with fist, dagger, or pistol. Something of a poet, curiously responsive to charitable appeals. Something of a Lothario, something of a pirate. Something of a blackguard, and in profanity equipped with resources incomparable for richness of invention and competence of authority. Lumber rafting on the upper Mississippi lasted roughly through 1840 to 1915, but the old-time raftsmen began to disappear when the raft boat or steamboat used to tow and push rafts came in about 1865. The hardihood of the raftsmen of the floating days tended to be measured by the strength of their whiskey, which was so powerful that it would take the hair off a buffalo robe. Or, to cite another school of thought on the buffalo robe test, Mike Fink drank so much whiskey that he destroyed the coating of his stomach, and the doctor told him that before he could get well, he would need a new coat for it. Mike thought the thing over and said when he had a new coat for his stomach, he would have one that would stand the whiskey, and he made up his mind that buffalo robe with hair on it was just a thing, and so he sat down and swallowed it. He could drink about any amount of whiskey after that, and never so much as wink. When the buffalo robe failed as a stomach lining, opium did the trick. Something of the toughness of the raftsman and the humor of his invention may be gleaned from the following advice of one raftsman to another. "Hey, don't let that stuff drop on that like your boots," I heard one raftsman say to another that was passing him the bottle. "I spilt some on my new shore shoes last week, and it ate the uppers clean down to the soles." "Was them shoes tanned with a hooligan?" asked the other in a quietly interested way, as if he were seeking scientific knowledge. "No, sir. That there leather was tanned by the best hemlock bark, and the shoes cost me $3 in Red Wing." "Now say, my friend," gently remonstrative, "don't you know better than to buy leather tanned in hemlock? What do you want is leather tanned in oakum, and whiskey don't eat it. You see, whiskey and hemlock, they get together on social terms, same as you and me, and then the whiskey does its deadly work and swallers the leather. But the whiskey and opium's enemies, and when they meet, whiskey gets licked every time. That's why I keep my stomach lined with it. Oakum's been from the bamjam tree that grows in India to the height of more than 1,000 feet. Its wood is so hard they have to cut it with a cold chisel. It stands to reason that it's stronger than hemlock. Try some on your stomach, and then your liquor won't get to your head like this." The hardihood of the raftsman tended to be measured by his boasting. The famous raft scene in Life on the Mississippi, 1874, which gives us our first glimpse of Huck Finn, Mark Twain has immortalized in The Screamer. The Screamer is a ring-tailed roar grown maudlin, who boasts about his weakness rather than his strength. He is the bogus bad man, who has already been glimpsed at the canebrake, cockalorum, and the cock-of-the-walk pose of Mike Fink. West of the Mississippi, the scream of the backwoods boaster and bully passed into howls of the pseudo and mock bad man, who, in his boasting, chants and yells, proclaimed his intestinal fortitude with more and more weird anatomical details. In addition to the usual animal traits, he claimed a mythical animal nurse and a more than usual endowment of teeth, other than hard substance in his makeup. Crockett, too, it will be recalled, boasted about being half chicken hawk and steel trap, and out of his wilderness birthplace, born in a canebrake, cradled in a sap trough, and clouded with coonskins. No one liked to play bagman more than a cowboy on a spree, and from his favorite interjections, whoopee! Originally a call to animals, making whoopee has become a general term for carousing. But if a would-be desperado announced that it was his time to howl, this was chiefly for the benefit of the uninitiated, for the rest knew that with the true bagman or killer the rule was shoot first and talk afterward. On the frontier, however, apparent rage and vigorous language had their uses in bluffing and blustering one's way out of a tight place, as well as letting off steam. By such devices, an Iowa squatter is reported to have got rid of a prospective settler from Illinois who casually remonstrated against anyone holding more than one claim, and not even that unless he lived on it. My name, sir, is Crimeman Cragen. I own 14 claims, and if any man jumps one of them, I will shoot him down at once. Sir, I am a gentleman, sir, and a scholar. I was educated in Bangor, have been in the United States Army, and served my country faithfully, am a discoverer of the Wapsie. Can ride a grizzly bear, or whip any human that ever crossed the Mississippi, and if you dare jump one of my claims, die you must. The drum-sized bagmen yells not only lean heavily on one another, but also become mixed with literary or semi-literary parodies of burlesques. Such, frankly, is The Badman of the Brazos, beginning, I'm a blizzard from the Brazos, on a tear, hear me hoot. I'm a lifter on the flowing locks of hair, hear me hoot. I'm a rucker from the Rockies, and all of town and talk is a pirate from the Pampas on the shoot.